Hi, welcome to my video. If you're new here, my name is Kim. Today I'm going to talk about a audiobook that I listened to last night while it's still in my mind and fresh and um, making me angry still. It's called, okay, so it's called Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. Um, it's a classic, so a lot of you probably have heard it or read it or seen some sort of film adaptation or something. Sorry, my face is all red. I'm drinking an energy drink. Ooh. And they make my face all hot. Anyway, um, so yeah, Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I wrote down notes. I was so angry. So there you go. It's got spoilers. It's got trigger warnings. I'm going to try really hard not to call one of the characters what they are because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. And yeah, so if you've never read it and you plan to read it, you'll probably want to skip over this next part here. Um, I had never really thought about it. I mean, I knew it existed, but I had never really thought about it until yesterday. I was watching a video by Carolyn Marie Reeds. Carolyn Marie Reeds. There you go. She's really awesome. If you check out her YouTube page, I point at my TV because that's how I watch her on YouTube. Anyway, yeah, she mentioned it, and just the little tiny, explanation that she gave sparked my interest, and I looked for it on Libby, and I haven't been listening to audiobooks for very long. I'm just getting into it. I've always been a fan of physical books, so I don't have a copy of it, but I do have a list of notes, things that ticked me off in that book. So, so we'll look at that. And then I posted a short about my Goodwill trip on Monday, and I only got one thing, and you saw it in the short, and it's the cutest thing in the whole wide world, I think. It's this orange sweater. It's by Zanana, whatever. It's a size medium. I would keep it if it were my size, but it is not. So it's on my Poshmark. I'll leave a link below. And yeah, that's that. It's got pockets. It's so cute. Oh, why could it not be a little bigger or a little smaller? I know why I'm not a little smaller. But anyways, let's move on. So yeah, let's talk about Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. It was written in 1891, so that gives you some context as to how everything becomes so messed up. Yeah, so here's the spoilers. Here's the trigger warning. You know, if you're triggered by bad things that happen to young women, don't listen to the next part. So there you go. So the final chapter, we'll start with that because he means it ironically, but it says everything. At the very end, the last chapter is called Justice, which is, so ironic considering the fact that there is nothing just that goes on in this entire book. The entire book is basically how Tess gets taken advantage of and her life is ruined by other people. So, let's start with her dad. Okie dokie. Her dad is basically like Eliza Doolittle's dad. He goes out drinking, he's kind of a layabout, he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, he doesn't take care of his family. He's, useless. There, I said it. Ha. Yeah. So then her mom is just as bad as her dad in that she makes excuses for the dad and everything is Tess's fault and not the dad's fault. And she totally doesn't mind that her husband's useless and it's Eliza's job to take care of the family. And so that's not just, in my opinion. She's only 16. And so um, her mom, like, blames her for everything goes wrong. And here's my little list of only 3 things that went wrong that she was blamed for, which is complete garbage because it was not her fault. It was other people's faults all the time. So there you go. So, number 1, let's just start with the horse. Okay. The horse died. That was not her fault. You know whose fault it was? The mail carrier who wasn't driving properly. Or let's back it up a little bit, and it's her father's fault for sending a 16-year-old girl to go do his work because he's too hungover to do his work, and she doesn't even know how to drive the horse and buggy or horse and cart and whatever. And she's like put upon to go do that because her brother fell asleep, and he knows how, I guess, because he's male and he's very special because of that. But whatever. So then the horse dies, and they blame her. Her mom like expects her to replace the horse. Um, you know, Tess feels bad about it, and she thinks that it's her fault too. And instead of being a good mom and saying, no, it's not your fault, we shouldn't have put that on you, or the mail carrier can't drive, or whatever. No, yeah, you owe us a horse. So then they decide that she needs to go find a job. Fine, she's 16, that's fine. Uh, so she hears about someone who could be a distant relation. They aren't, but they could be, whatever. So they send her off to go talk to this rich relative, and this is mostly her mom's doing. Her dad's still probably sleeping it off. Anyway, she just she goes to this guy, and he's in charge of the estate because the relative is, uh, old and disabled, and she's not able to like take care of things anymore. So her nephew or her son or whoever is in charge of the estate, and he's 23, and he's arrogant and just a louse, and he's the worst kind of person on the earth, in my opinion. And then she um, doesn't want to work with him. She feels creeped out by him. She tells her mom that she feels creeped out by him. And she's like, oh, no, it's fine. Just get in the cart and go, work with this guy. And so she gets in the buggy with this guy, and he takes her out and does something horrible. There's the trigger warning. And then she comes home to her mother, and she explains what happened. And her mom's like, what? He didn't marry you? Why didn't you marry him? Why didn't you get him to marry you if you're going to let him do that? Let him. So, yeah. Okay, Mom. Yeah. So then, that wasn't her fault, but her mother blamed her. So then, uh, she ends up pregnant. People know who she is, know that she's not married and she's pregnant, whatever. She has a rep in her neighborhood. And then she moves to another place, 40 miles away, and she meets a man, and they fall in love, and she's like, no, I can't marry you, but she never tells him why, because it's shameful, whatever. And she knows that she's no longer a good girl because of what happened to her. Let's just not even, okay. So anyway, so she finally, gives in, and she says, okay, I'll marry you. And they get married, and they go away on their honeymoon. And he says, I don't want there to be anything, between us that's, any secrets, so I have to tell you that, a while back, I went out drinking, and I was sleeping around with this harlot girl, and, just doing gross stuff, whatever. But then I realized that was wrong, so I stopped. And she's like, you're right. We shouldn't have any secrets. So here's what happened to me. And she tells him, and then he's like, what? You're not the girl I thought you were. That's horrible. How could you not tell me about what kind of girl you are? And, like I'm supposed to believe that and blah, blah, blah. And he's like this horrible man. And then he gives her some money and runs away from the whole country. He leaves the country, goes to, I think it was Brazil. Anyways, he goes somewhere far, far away and leaves her there with just like a handful of money. And, what's she going to do? So she goes back to her mother. Good idea. And she gives her mom half the money. And her mom is like, well, how can you not keep your husband? What's wrong with you that you just, let him run away? Hello? Hello? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This woman, this mother person. Okay. I cannot stand her. The only bit of justice in this whole book, here's the giant spoiler, is when Tess murders the bad guy. Yes, she does. He convinces her that no one else could, want her, or that her husband's not coming back, so she should be with him. And oh, he's reformed. He's such a nice man now. And so she's with him, and then her husband does come back, and then she wants to be with her husband, not this creepy guy, so she killed him. And that is the only ounce of justice I can see in this whole stinking book. So, that was that. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, I think that's everything that I need to rant about. That's my therapy for the day. Therapy. It's nice. Tess's whole family should have had therapy. So I'm not going to tell you the rest of the book because that's all you need to know. Like, the whole thing is just her getting, like, pooped on. That's it. Tess gets pooped on. That's an alternative title, okay? So, yeah. I'm so annoyed. I need to read something fluffy. The book that I've been reading, Into the Heartless Wood, is not fluffy. It's awesome. I'm enjoying it, but it is not fluffy. It is something I should have gotten to back in October for Halloween, because that's the vibes it's giving. It's the I suppose the modern vernacular for it is dark cottage core. It's dark. This girl is dark, okay? She is like bad, okay? So yeah, Joanna Ruth Meyer, that's Into the Heartless Wood. That's what I've been reading physically. And yeah, so did I get everything done today? Did I shared my rant about Tess. That was the main thing. I showed you the cute sweater I got on Monday at the thrift store. I love thrifting. It's so much fun. Now I can forget about Tess and all of the horrible things that happened in her book. Okay. And then I will read something fluffy. I already have this little, it's like 3 short stories about Christmas in Amish land. I'll probably be listening to that or reading that here maybe tonight, maybe this afternoon. I don't know. So yeah, I wanted to make a video today, and what better thing to make a video about than something that makes you angry? There you go. So yeah, I'll link that cute sweater if you want that. It's an oversized medium down below. And yeah, if there's anything you think I should be reading or any classics that you think that I should listen to, go ahead and comment below. Like this, subscribe. I'm bound to find more books that make me angry because, the world is full of unjust, horrible things that I enjoy reading about. So, all right, thank you. Have a good day, and I'll see you next video.